Welcome, I am Rail Zeev and your host for Keep Traveling Your African Vacation, the only podcast which brings you insightful information in the African tourism industry by real tourism professionals. Today we have a very special guest and a great episode, and I have the pleasure of introducing Jean Uku, who is the marketing manager at AirKenya. Jean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rael. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
I want to reiterate, this is AirKenya, not Kenya Airways. Why? Because I'm not a fan of Kenya Airways, but I hope to be a fan of AirKenya, and people should know the difference.
Definitely. We're two very different airlines. AirKenya is a domestic airline based at Wilson Airport, while Kenya Airways is a big international airline based at our international airport.
For listeners who might not know, can you give us a quick overview of AirKenya's operations across East Africa?
Okay. So first off, I would say that AirKenya, we describe ourselves as a premium safari airline, and we operate to all the major safari destinations in East Africa. We have partners in Tanzania and Uganda. In Tanzania, our partner airline is called Regional Air. In Uganda, it's called Aerolink. And together with these two airlines, we offer seamless connections to mostly game parks, national parks, game reserves, and wildlife conservancies within the region.
So what makes AirKenya unique to other sort of regional airlines in East Africa?
There's a lot. First off, I would say that apart from scheduled services, we also offer charter flights. And we've been doing this for a long time. And as we go along, we've been improving, especially on the charter services, how we operate the charters. Scheduled services are our priority, but we've seen charter flights and services, the demand for these services for charters come up greatly in the last few years. And we offer a bespoke service for charters. So like a lot of companies take our charters for incentive flights because we have the bigger aircraft, the Dash 8s. So you find that we can carry big groups to all these safari destinations. We allow them to brand the interior of the aircraft according to their company. We also offer them space in our hangar where they can sit privately and have their own space and their own time, have refreshments as they wait to board their flights. So we try to make our services as customized as possible. So that's one thing that sets us apart. Another thing is that I would say we're a legacy airline. We've been doing this business for more than 30 years. And I would say that we're professionals in bush flying. That's basically what we do, flying to all these remote airstrips out there. We have a very proficient crew and operations department to handle our flights very efficiently. And on top of that, I think what makes us unique is what I mentioned earlier, the seamless connection between Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya in offering safari flights. A guest can sample the three countries in one holiday and very quickly and efficiently get between the Masai Mara and the Serengeti, or the Masai Mara and Bwindi Forest, which is in Uganda. We have a saying, or rather a tagline saying, have breakfast in the Mara and lunch in the Serengeti. Basically, we deliver on that because literally you move from the Mara to the Serengeti within half a day and your day is not lost.
Going back to the lounges within the hangars, I'm assuming that that's quite a casual sort of setup. It's not business class lounges in Emirates, right?
No, it's very casual, and we try to make it as safari themed like as possible. So we put out safari chairs. The refreshments are laid out on the side with tables covered with the traditional Masai cloth. So we try to make someone feel like they've already started their safari before they board the flight. Yeah.
Sure. You know, obviously your clients are flying in on international flights. Do you have any kind of partnerships? You spoke about the regional partnerships, the other airlines in Uganda and Tanzania. Do you have any partnerships going with some international carriers like code shares, that type of thing?
No, not at the moment. We don't have that. It's something that we would be looking at in the future. But I would say reprotection agreements and interline agreements with airlines in our space that do domestic flights, safari flights that is. So in case we have a technical problem or for some reason we can't operate a certain flight, we never leave passengers behind. We always give them quick solutions. And that includes putting them on another airline, even a competitor airline, so that they can reach their destination as quickly as possible.
Now, you say AirKenya has been going for 30 years, but you're not old enough to have started there. So tell me how you've gotten into such a great position as the marketing manager. Was airlines, this type of industry, always going to be in your bag, Jean?
Actually, Rael, it's interesting. I've always been in aviation all my career, and I've worked with several airlines. I can name a few, including Kenya Airways, that you're not very fond of. I worked with them for more than 10 years, but that's way back. I've worked with airlines such as Air France when they used to operate here. I've worked for other regional airlines here, such as Fly 540, and I've worked in Tanzania as well with airlines such as Precision Air and FastJet Tanzania. So I've always been in aviation. However, this is my first job in general aviation, what we call the safari sector. But it's been a very interesting transition. It's very different from the commercial airlines. One of the differences I would say is the flexible schedule that you find in general aviation. You see, with commercial flights, you know the schedule. A flight will depart at a certain time and reach its destination at a certain time and then come back. In general aviation, yes, we depart at a certain time, but reaching the destination is variable. For example, the Masai Mara, we fly to 9 airstrips. So in any one day, we'll be landing at these airstrips at a slightly different time. So what we do, we call ahead to the camps to tell them what time we'll be landing so that they're there with their vehicles to meet the passengers. It's very dynamic and very relationship based, very customer service centric based, and it's been very exciting.
Oh, good. Well, you seem to be enjoying it. You've always got a big smile on your face when I'm talking to you. So, obviously you're happy with what you're doing. What are some of the most iconic lodges or conservancies that Air Kenya operates to?
I would say number one is the Masai Mara. It's named as one of the natural wonders of the world because of the wildebeest migration that happens the later part of the year from around June to October. At this time, it's about to end. The wildebeest actually do a circular motion. They start in Tanzania, they give birth, and then they go around, they cross the Mara River into the Masai Mara. They come and graze there during those months I've mentioned because the grass is greener, and then they go back. They do their whole cycle of life in the Mara and Serengeti ecosystem. The Masai Mara, apart from the wildebeest migration, is also famous for the abundance of wildlife found there, especially with the big five. You can see all the big five there. Let me see if I can name them: the lion, the leopard, the elephant, the rhino, and the buffalo. You find them in abundance in the Mara. So the Mara is very popular. It's actually our most popular destination, and we fly there 3 times a day. And then the second, I would say, is Serengeti, found in Tanzania. That's actually much bigger than the Masai Mara, and it's famous for, apart from the wildebeest, also abundance of wildlife, and I think the Great Plains. It has lots of wide open plains. It's just a beautiful place. Another iconic destination is found in Uganda now, the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, where you find the mountain gorillas. That's very famous. People are not aware that it's actually cheaper to trek the gorillas in Uganda than in Rwanda. So Uganda also has a lot of attractions to offer, including Murchison Falls, which is one of the most powerful waterfalls in the world. We're so lucky to be flying to all these beautiful, iconic places, and it's our pleasure to take guests who probably have never seen these beautiful landscapes and all the wildlife. It's just our pleasure and we enjoy flying them there and seeing the joy that they receive when they reach their destinations.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you get an opportunity at times to jump in the last seat and say, you know what, I'm not sitting in the office today. I'm just going to go along with the pilot and spend my day in the air? Do you get any kind of opportunities like that, or are you pushing the boundaries too much?
That's pushing the boundaries. But we do go, but it has to be coordinated. You have to be flying for a purpose, not enjoyment, maybe to monitor something or to check on something. But yes, we do get to travel on our flights and experience the beautiful things that our guests also experience.
Now, safety and sustainability are obviously fairly hot topics when it comes to air travel. What is Air Kenya doing in terms of reducing their environmental impact in that regard?
Yes, we do recognize it as a very important issue these days. This year, we commissioned an audit on our carbon credit emissions. The reports are just coming out and it's for all 3 airlines. So basically, the audit was to measure our carbon emissions, not just from our flights, but also from our ground equipment, including employees' commute to work. So they measured everything. And once they give us the report, we'll know exactly how much carbon we're emitting into the atmosphere, because it's important to know where you are before you start offsetting. The next step after that would be to to look for projects within the region that are accredited in carbon credit offsetting. We would sponsor them and also monitor how much carbon we are saving from being emitted into the atmosphere by joining those projects. So we'll be able to quantify, and our stakeholders and guests reports on what we're doing and what the progress is.
Yeah, I can understand that you have to go that way, because when I look at international airlines, their engines are getting better, their fuel savings are getting better, they're coming up with fantastic new planes, fantastic new jet engines, etc. Unfortunately, with flying the routes that you guys do, you can only carry on using sort of propellered planes, if you like. And I don't know if there is that advancement in the technology of the aircraft that you guys are using.
Not really. For the turboprops, not really. But now that you mention our fleet, I can also give a description of the kind of aircraft we use. Basically, our fleet is a turboprop fleet, and it's suitable for doing short takeoffs and landings at unpaved airstrips where we fly. Our fleet is varied in terms of small equipment and big equipment of aircraft. I'll start with the Caravan aircraft. It's an 11-seater. It's a single engine, and at AirKenya we have one. Aerolink have 3, and Regional Air also have 3. The next aircraft in size is the Dash 6. It has 18 seats, and at AirKenya we've got 3 of them. The next one in size is the Dash 8. That's a very popular one in the region. It's a twin engine, it's pressurized, it's a 37-seater, and at AirKenya we've got 3, Regional Air has 1. And then we have the Dash 7, which has the biggest capacity. It's a 49-seater. It's actually an iconic aircraft because you find that people from all over the world, when they come to fly with Air Kenya, they actually request to fly on this aircraft because it's got 4 engines, 2 on each side. But it's also great for the short takeoffs and landings, and it's also very efficient for flying to the bush. That's our fleet. And yes, one would think that our missions are high, but I think it's just like an average airline our size. It is in our interest to see how we can offset, and we're in the process of doing that.
Running or operating a regional airline like what you guys do obviously comes with quite a few operational hurdles, especially flying into those remote airstrips. Can you give us a couple of ones that are really prominent on a sort of daily or weekly basis?
Okay, I can give you an example from today. You know, we fly to northern Kenya, so you find that there are also military bases up north. So every now and again, they do their military exercises. Normally, at a normal airport, they would give what you call a NOTAM, where they tell you from this time to this time for this period, from this date to this date, the airspace or airport will be closed, so plan yourselves accordingly. Unfortunately, we're only told the morning of operation. So today we had a VIP charter that was delayed for an hour because we had to wait for the military exercises to be over, and we only knew this morning. So those kind of things. Another thing that affects us is the weather at these airstrips. So what we do is we monitor very keenly, especially the morning of operation, liaising with the people at the airstrip and with our operations department just to make sure that we fly safely.
I'm glad that you mentioned the flying. I've flown small aircraft a few times. Not me personally, but I've been in small aircraft a few times. And whenever I've had the opportunity, I always say to them, please, I either want to fly early in the morning or late in the afternoon. I definitely don't want to fly at midday when the thermals are playing their funny games. Do you guys try and also work your routines as much around that kind of weather conditions?
You know, it's hard to avoid that time because with being a safari-based operation, you find that people need to fly early and either have their breakfast at the camp and then come back to, let's say, Nairobi or to the next destination in time to have lunch. Especially the flight coming back, we hit that time that you're talking about. Sometimes the flight, it's not a very comfortable flight, but we do our best to make sure that the guests, our passengers are comfortable, making sure the air vents are working. And the pilots will also tell you, we expect to have some turbulence. So yeah, they try to make the passengers feel as comfortable as possible. We also have afternoon flight. So that's someone who has had lunch already and then going to the game reserve to make it in time for the afternoon game drive and the dinner. So we can't avoid such timings, but we do our best to make sure that the guests are comfortable.
I understand that. And when I hire a private charter from you, Jean, I'm going to make sure that we're flying not during the middle of the day.
It's good that you know these things. It's yeah, that's great.
tell me, what is Air Kenya's plans for the future as far as expansion and routes, partnerships perhaps? Can you let us in anything going on at the moment?
Actually, in terms of expansion, what we've done the last 2 years is expanded our fleet. We've brought in 2-8s, that's the AirKenya entity. And this is in line with the growth that we've been seeing over the years in terms of tourist arrivals. So with the 3-8s and the -7, we believe that we're in line to tap into the forecasted growth in tourist arrivals in the region. In terms of new routes, nothing for now, because our focus is just in getting our operation as smooth as possible. Every year we have a sit down, especially after high season, to see where we maybe went wrong, what we can improve, which timings need to be tweaked here and there so that we can offer a better service to our clients. So we're just into improving the service and making sure the guest experience is as good as possible rather than expanding and not being able to manage the expansion.
Now, I know that you and Air Kenya have been very kind and generous in offering a prize giveaway. Can you tell our listeners what it is that you're going to be giving away?
Yeah, we'll be giving away tickets for 2 return tickets between Nairobi and the Masai Mara. We won't be able to arrange your accommodation, unfortunately, but the tickets will help. What you need to do is make sure you have a place to stay and the tickets are yours.
Listen, Jean, thank you very much. It's been fantastic talking to you and hearing more about the connectivity that you guys provide at Air Kenya. I've always got to get it right that it's not Kenya Airways, but Air Kenya. It's fantastic to know the connectivity that you guys are providing and the service, and hearing about it from you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I've really appreciated your time and energy.
Thank you. Thank you. I've appreciated the conversation, and hopefully we can do it again in the future.
That was Jean Uku from Air Kenya. Do not forget that fantastic prize giveaway. Make sure that you've got your accommodation sorted. All the entry details can be found in the show notes of this episode, or head over to www.wildsunsets.travel/podcast. Tune in again next week when I'll be chatting to another great African tourism professional. My name is Rail Zeev, and consider this. A few years from now, you will not remember how much it cost you, but you will still remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.